Welcome back. I'm all rugged up in here in this cold caravan. Yeah, why I have no friends. Now, first of all, I should define what exactly I mean. Because there might be some people watching this and be like, come on, hang on, you have friends. You have friends. Some of you might be watching this thinking, hey, no, wait, I'm your friend. Well, what I mean by friend, I'm more so speaking of real life friends. Do I have any real life friends? Like people that keep in touch with me on a regular basis, people that I see on a regular basis. It's of course a give and a take. Like I contact them, they contact me, just reach out occasionally, check how we're doing, check how they're doing. Like, do I have people in my life that I, outside of family, right? That because family is different, of course. And yeah, look, I'm grateful for my family. I am. I'm grateful for my parents. I'm grateful for my extended family. Very supportive. Great people to be around. So I'm very grateful. But in terms of family, like family spread all over the place, right? Like where I live right now, I'm very much isolated. I live in regional Queensland. No other immediate. Well, I've got my parents. Like they're close by, but uh, outside immediate family, my parents don't have any other extended family around. I'm an only child, so I have no siblings. So anyway, that leaves moving on to friends, right? Because friendship, of course, is something entirely different, like different to family, different dynamic. And the natural human condition is to, well, be in community and have friends. And for quite a number of reasons, really, I find myself in a place right now where I can say I have no friends. I really have no real life friends. And yeah, look, in the past I've said, okay, I've got a friend here, I've got a friend there, but really the way I look at it now, I've really been doing some introspection, thinking about what do I value in a friend and what sort of friend would do I want to be, right? And I'm not even talking about like companionship and relationships and going to that level now. I'm just thinking about just pure friendship, right? Because the natural way of things to progress, right? It's like you grow in childhood, of course. You form friendships. You just learn more about the whole like the way communities, groups of people interact, the social dynamics, and yeah, then as you get older, it starts to develop, and yeah, then of course you enter teenage years and you start to become interested in the relationships and all that. Like, yeah, yeah, like boyfriend girlfriend dynamic and so on. Yeah, find a partner, eventually possibly get married, have kids, so on, start a family, and yeah, just all these things that society tells us that we have to do. And yeah, through my experience, for one reason or another, the point I'm at now, I'm 25 years old and I have no friends. I have quite a few acquaintances. I've made quite a few acquaintances over the years. Like people who I said I was friends with in high school, for instance. I'm really not in touch with anyone from high school. Anyone from any of my school years, primary school, of course, that's a long time ago. But those people, of course, they form friendships in primary school, early on in life, and then they're like lifelong friends. I don't have that. Primary school, like that's long time gone. But even like high school, more recently, I'm like 6 years out of high school now, and it's like over that time, I've only seen people from my high school on a handful of occasions. Of course, online you see all this stuff, like on social media and everything, like people building their lives, some already getting married, starting a family. I'm starting to see that more and more, and just what people are doing, where they're working. But yeah, for one reason or another, I don't have any friends. I just don't. So yeah, I have quite a few acquaintances, like people that I've occasionally in contact with from my high school. Like in the past, I would have said, yeah, yeah, I have friends. Well, not really. They're not friends. Like a friend is like there's a give and a take, and I would say it's someone that you actually see in person regularly. Of course, you can meet people in real life, and then let's just say life happens, you grow apart a bit, you go down different path, move somewhere else. Of course, you can still be in contact and you'll still be friends, and then like it's like you get back with them eventually, like meet up in real life. You can essentially continue like essentially as you left off, right? And I'm not saying that the online doesn't count at all. Like I've met people online. I'm grateful for this community on YouTube that I have for my main channel, and that I've had on many channels over the years. Like few people in this space, like shout out 24/7 Betterment, Mike V, even Ian on YouTube, although I don't know him as well. But still, there's a group of you know like-minded guys on here. Like I'm very grateful for all of you, right? I really am. But real life connection, real life friendship is important. And yeah, the cold hard fact is, I don't have that. So everyone that I've occasionally in contact with from my high school, it's more just an acquaintance. Yeah, they're acquaintances. And yeah, I'm not really in contact with anyone from my high school long term. And apart from that, since I got out of high school, my life's completely changed. I no longer live in the city where I grew up. I relocated to where I am now in rural Queensland, countryside. And yeah, look, since then I've really tried. I've really tried. Like I'm a remote student, right? I study everything remotely online, and I've made some more acquaintances at university. I've gone there occasionally. Like I've had things I've had to do in person, and I'm really grateful for that. I've had field trips. I've met some really what seemed like really cool people, but it just hasn't been enough to overcome certain barriers. Like I've formed quite a few acquaintances over the years. People I'll see occasionally, like yeah, occasionally I'll pass through, where they are, the area where they live and stuff, and yeah, I might visit them or yeah, catch up in town, all that. But I don't have any. I've never been able to overcome the certain barrier where it's like, okay, this person's my friend. Like there's been so many people where it's like I've gone visited them or met up. Let's say like the city where I grew up with. I go there, visit there occasionally. Like I've gone through there a few times, caught up with some people, and just traveled around and all that. Like I like that sort of stuff. I like traveling around, revisiting places I've already been, all that. And occasionally I've caught up with people I know, and every single time I've done that, I've always like invited them. Hey, come out this way. Come out visit. I've always extended that gesture, invited people to come visit me out here. No one's done it. No one's visited me out here. It's not like I'm super far away, really. I'm not that far away from these places. Actually, it's not that long to get here, really. Like, yeah, there was one person. There was one person that came and visited once, and they were very interested just to see how I was living out here, and yeah, I took them on a local hike, and yeah, it was good. It was good. But since then, like he's never come back for another visit. I've gone occasionally, caught up. Like we're studying the same degree, so we've like bounced ideas off each other, like just help with assessments, all that. Like not doing any assessment, but like just coming up with ideas, brainstorming, and just like career advice, like what I want to do, what he wants to do, all that. Like just networking. So I have a lot of acquaintances, but no one that I would actually call a friend. And how does it feel? How does it feel? I'm 25 years old and I have no friends. In the past, I would have said I'm sad, I'm lonely. In the past, I definitely was depressed, for sure. For sure. I had really bad social anxiety for most of my time growing up. And yeah, pretty much through even up until I got out of high school, really, I had really bad social anxiety. I was on medication. I was seeing a psychiatrist, and since then, a few years later, I'm no longer doing that. No longer going to therapy. No longer on any medication, and really, I'm at the point where I haven't been depressed in quite a long time. I go through the ups and downs, of course. I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel happy, but never since a certain point, I just haven't felt depressed. And in terms of how it feels having no friends, it doesn't bother me as much as many people would think. I mean, it clearly does bother me to an extent that I'm making this video, but I don't know, it's just been so, it just starts to feel so normal to me that perhaps I don't even know what I'm missing out on. And I look at a lot of people out there, a lot of society, and I'm like, I don't want to be their friend. I don't want to be their friend. I really don't. Like, uh, what triggered this? Oh, yeah, yesterday. I would have to be out yesterday. Yesterday, so recently at my workplace, there was a colleague that retired, and we went to um, a local club just to, it's like a club where like they do sort of sporting club, right? But they also like have like a little bar where they serve drinks and all that. So we went there and just as like a farewell dinner, see them off. And yeah, where was I going with this? I don't even know where I'm going with this now, but yeah. Anyway, that was good. That was good. I like that. It's good. It's good to see them off. But it's like I'm not. It's not often that I go to like pubs or bars, clubs, things like that. I don't really go to social events much at all. I mean, there really isn't much to do, especially where I live. I live in a small country town in the middle of nowhere, right? There's not much to do, but there is some places you can go. There's a local pub. There's a few small places to go and see and all that. And it's a very tight knit community here. I mean, I've lived here for coming up on 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years, and yeah, I would say I'm accepted by the community now. Like in a regional area, country town, it definitely is different. Like, definitely does take longer for people to warm up to you, get to know you. People can be a bit more compared to like in the city. People take a lot longer to get used to you if you're new in town, right? But I would say I'm pretty well known now around the area because I work in a pretty front facing role, and I've done a few things around town. Like most people know who I am, even if I don't really know people that well. Like most people, a lot of people would know my name. I know a lot of people's names, even if I don't know them necessarily personally. So yeah, look, I feel pretty well accepted by the town, but not to the extent where I've made friends with anyone. And yeah, anyway, when I was at that venue yesterday, just looking around, it was a Friday night. People were on the beers. People were starting to get drunk, and just observing people, looking around, and I was just thinking to myself, would I want to be friends with any of these people? And the answer to that was not really, no. And a big part of it is I just don't have the same interests. I just don't really relate to people. Like most small talk that people have, I just find utterly dull and uninteresting. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just the part of the world I live in, but for example, sports, I have practically zero interest in sports. I couldn't give a rat's ass about what sporting team you support and what sport you're interested in. I'm just not interested in any of it, really. Really, I mean, when I was younger, I did competitive swimming for a while. I was actually pretty good, actually. I got into squads, did some competitions. I was good at swimming, so yeah, I did do some sports. And look, nothing against sports at all. Like, I mean, in terms of, I'm talking in terms of like following teams and like that stuff. I don't like the commercialization of sports. Like doing sports as a hobby, great. Like no problem. No problem whatsoever. Hiking, I love hiking. Hiking is pretty much a sport, right? Like you fishing, hunting, whatever. Like sports, nothing wrong with it. But you know what I'm talking about, right? When I say sports, just no interest, no interest. Pop culture, music, TV, drama, like just no interest whatsoever. And what celebrities doing this or that? I don't care about these people. Don't even tell me about them. I just don't care. I don't want to know. Music. I'll listen to music, right? But I've never really been big on the artists of any music, even music I listen to. Like, oh no, like I don't really have a favorite band or singer as such or guitarist. I don't have a set of favorite artist, music artist or anything. Like I have certain genres I like to listen to, certain type of music I like. I have a playlist of all my favorite songs and stuff, and I know the artists, right? But I've never got to the point where I would have anyone that I would just idolize and just follow. Like I'm not a fan of anyone. And this all gets worse now with social media and the age of influencers. Like, yeah, I have some people I look up to, people I've never met in real life. You could say influencers that I follow. Yeah, I have some people I look up to that I think they're genuine, that I respect. But most of the stuff that's out there is just complete garbage. And as a result, I'm just completely out of touch with what the latest trends are and what the hell is going on in this strange world of ours. And as a result, when it comes to social interactions and making friends with people, I just don't. I just can't. I just can't. There's certain barriers I can't overcome. And I think that's people can probably sense that. That's why no one ever invites me to anything. No one ever takes me up on the offer and say, oh, yeah, I invite them to my humble abode and yeah, just and look, this is after like hanging out already for a while. I have certain people, like I've hung out with people and like I've been invited to their place, so it's clearly gotten to that level, right? This is just friendship, right? I'm just talking about friendship. And I invited people over, and like hardly anyone has actually taken me up on the offer, like returned the effort. Like with a friendship, it's like it's a give and a take, right? Like they invite me for something, I invite them for something, and if there's no reciprocation, no reciprocity, then it's not a friendship. So with all that in account, I don't have any friends. And yeah, it does bother me to an extent because I'm like, part of me knows it's not the ideal human existence. I know that. All of us know that. Like, yeah, loneliness is a real thing and it is a real killer. But it's got to the point with me that I have such low expectations of most people that it doesn't. It starts to feel. I just start to feel numb to everything. I just start to feel numb to people on almost like not numb, but like just low expectations. Such low expectations of the average person that it will ever turn into something. And this is just speaking out friendships. I haven't even touched on like romantic relationships yet. That's a whole other story. And with that, I have zero experience, so I can't really speak much on it. Yeah, look, I've had handful of dates over the years. Nothing ever went anywhere. Nothing ever materialized into anything beyond just that. But yeah, look, I've never ever been able to get past the stage of acquaintance, really, with anyone. And look, nothing wrong with acquaintances, but ideally, we all need some friends, right? So, yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, getting to the last point, what's the solution? I don't know the solution. That's why I'm making this video. I really don't know the solution because I have not been able to make friends. And I've heard all the advice, like find common interests. Like if you're interested in something, go join a club. I have some interest, yes, and I have tried to find clubs, but there is nothing locally. Um, so yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Perhaps if like this is the crazy thing though. Like I grew up in a city, right? And the city I grew up in, I've looked like there's a lot of clubs, things that if I lived there now that I would go and do. But when I lived there, when I grew up, I had such bad social anxiety that I just never went out, never socialized. I was just always at home in my room. I was terrified of the outside world. And since moving out here to the countryside where there is less people, I've overcome social anxiety. I've like gone out. I've traveled on my own. Like if you don't believe me, go watch my main channel. I do solo travel. I go road trips. I travel around. But even with all that, I've never been able to get beyond the acquaintance level with anyone. I don't know. Over the years, I've also had issues around trust and trust because look, I'm a well-meaning I'm a well-meaning kind guy. Not nice. I hate the word nice. No one likes nice guys. Come on. Come on. But look, if someone's genuinely in need of something and I can help, I'll help, right? But at the same time, like I do put up, especially with people I meet, I do put up a lot of barriers, and yeah, perhaps to the extent that it can never develop beyond just being acquaintances, right? Yeah, I do put up barriers. I know that, but yeah, I've never like, I've had to like develop this, I guess, thick exoskeleton because over the years there have been quite a number of instances, right, where I've been taken advantage of and all this stuff, and I've learned to deal with that in a much healthier way over the year, and that's like the years. That's to set healthier boundaries, right? But at the same time, it's like it perhaps prevents me from really forming those connections and just moving beyond like just acquaintances. So that's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at. I'm 25 years old and I have no friends. It doesn't really bother me as much as it used to, um, but I'm aware that it's not the ideal for any human to not have in real life friends. And perhaps that's what drives me to make videos. I make videos on here and I make videos on my main channel where I vlog. Perhaps that's what drives me to do that because at least when it like because in the past, especially when I had social anxiety and all that, like I thought the fact that I didn't have friends and wasn't able to keep friends is just because of I'm just shy and awkward. But like yeah, and also because I'm quiet. Like quiet I've always been quiet. I've always been an introvert, right? But especially since like the last few years, I've realized I'm actually not that bad at speaking. I can be pretty decent at speaking actually. I've been told that I'm good at speaking. I'm articulate, right? I've been told that by people. And yeah, it's made me realize that no, that's not really it. It's not really it. Like when I'm out in public, like I can be quiet. I don't speak that often because most speaking is just nonsense. I mean, these videos are pretty rambling because it's all just or whatever's on my mind. I'm just rambling on into this camera here. But when I'm out in public interacting with people and all that, I don't really say that much, right? I'm pretty quiet usually. But when I speak, it's meaningful. But I just haven't been able to relate to people, and as a result, I have no friends. So I've always tended then to just get more like into reading books and yeah, watching YouTube, like following certain people and forming more connections, I guess, online, which is definitely not the same as real life. I'm grateful for the community that I've been part of over the years, but yeah, certain things do frustrate me. I struggle with trusting especially certain types of people I've been taken advantage of in the past, and another thing that really irks me is people tend to underestimate me. Really, I know, and I know that as a fact. People tend to underestimate me, like just the condescending manner that, especially I've noticed, especially when it comes to work, people have tended to underestimate me, especially with the way they explain certain things. Like I can tell though they're just being condescending, and the way certain people act, all that. I've noticed that I'm not a stupid person. Like, all right, I'm not the most in social situations. I'm not the quickest to catch on to things. I'm not the most, you could say, street smart. Like there's different types of intelligence, right? I don't like on certain fronts I'm definitely above average intelligence. On other fronts, like socially, not so much. It takes me a while to like pick up social cues and all that. So yeah, in social situations, I can be a bit slow, but being slow doesn't mean that I'm stupid, right? And I haven't really been told that I've never really been told that I'm stupid, right? But I'm not dumb, right? I can tell, I can read a room. It just takes me a bit longer sometimes, right? So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I have no friends. Yeah. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I don't know, but just want to share this experience because just to see if there's anyone else that's in this position where you just there's a certain barriers that you can't overcome, and yeah, you're at the point where you can say you have no friends. So if you're in that boat, then welcome aboard, welcome to the club, and yeah, yeah, that's all I have to say for today. I'll see you all in the next one. Onwards and upwards.